Hi, and welcome to a Hero Arts video. In this video, I'll show you how to make an ornament out of switch plate covers and digital images. We'll start our project off with a switch plate cover with a large opening in the center. It's just a regular white plastic plate cover and some regular tissue paper cut 4 by 6. I purchased this box of plate covers, a 10-pack, for $3.42, so it's about 68 cents an ornament. To start the project off, we'll start with one plate cover and one piece of tissue paper. It's just regular white tissue paper, and a Mod Podge or some sort of white glue to use to put the tissue paper down onto the plate cover. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply the glue to the plate cover. So I'll just start with the top portion, make sure I have it all covered. And then I'll go ahead and lay my tissue paper on top of the plate cover. I don't want these lines in here, so I'll kind of give it a little tug. Small wrinkles are fine, but you don't want a crease across the whole thing. So go ahead and pat that down real gently. Once that's in place, I'll lift this up and I'll place more glue underneath. Make sure I get the sides. And I'll go ahead and pat this back down. Once you have the front covered, you want to make sure your fingers are really dry, because the glue, if you get glue on the tissue paper, it'll resist the ink that we're going to put on later. So we'll go ahead and turn it over and apply the glue or Mod Podge to the sides. And the edge. And once we get the glue all in place, then we can start folding the tissue paper real gently. Notice I'm just patting it. So I'll pinch the corners, and then I'll start pressing the tissue paper into the inside. And once I have everything pulled to the back side, I'll go ahead and set this aside to dry and do my other one. And while our glue is drying, this is a good time to go ahead and print out your digital images. So you can create a sheet of birds and then your snowman, and just go ahead and print those onto cardstock. So we'll cut out 2 birds, mirror image to each other. As you can see, they're facing each other. 2 snowmen, 2 tree trunks, and 2 cardboard trees. Next, you'll want to color your images and cut out the bird and the snowman, omitting the arms and the feet. So here I have all my cutout pieces. I have my trees, which one side has pearls, just to show you what we'll do. I have my 2 birds, and I have my 2 snowmen. And right now I'm starting to add some brown paper to make my own snowman arms. I think this is much easier than cutting them out. So I have a little dab of glossy accents and some really skinny cut brown cardstock. So I'm just dipping the end of the paper into the glossy accents and putting it onto the arm. I'll go ahead and clip these off to a good length when I'm all done. Okay, so now I have all my little pieces done, and I've already colored one of my plate covers with some ink, and I'll go ahead and show you how to do that on the second one. So I have Stormy Sky Distress ink and an ink applicator, and I'm just going to go ahead and start swirling this on, and I'll use swirling motions and blotting motions just to get the ink onto the plate cover. You can add any amount of ink color on here. If you want it darker, go ahead and keep coloring in dark. But the idea is just to get it to look like a sky blue. Okay, now that I have my ink applied, I want to add one more layer of my Mod Podge or glue, and this will seal in my color. And once you have your switch plates completely covered, you can go ahead and set those aside to dry. And now we're ready to do some stamping. So I have my dried switch plate, and I have my magical background, and I'm just applying some white StazOn, just pretty much to the center, enough to fit the switch plate. And I'll go ahead and put the switch plate to the stamp. That way I won't rock around the edges. So put it in place, and then just kind of walk your fingers around the inside. You'll want to go ahead and do this on the other switch plate as well. So now the ink is dry on both my switch plates and I want to cut out the window. So I have my cutting mat and I'm just going to cut around the inside, allowing the blade of the knife to follow along the plastic. And make sure to cut in really good in the corners so nothing will tear. And now I'll prepare to make my window for my ornament, and I have a piece of acetate and my starry background. I'll go ahead and ink this up with white StazOn ink. Make sure I get enough ink to cover the piece of acetate. I'll move everything out of the way before I stamp. Go ahead and place this down and give firm pressure. And I'll just peel my acetate away from the stamp. And now we're about ready to start assembling. So I've cut my window in half, and I'll go ahead and attach this to the inside of the plate cover using some glue dots. And I'm just going to use 4 glue dots, but you could certainly use more if you wanted. So just peel these off and put them in place. And make sure none of your glue dots are showing from the outside. So I just had to move that one a little bit. So lay your window down and go ahead and press around the glue dots to make sure it sits right. So there's our window. And now that my windows are in place, one of the final things I'll want to do before we put this together is pierce the top screw hole of the switch plate. So I'm just using my pokey tool, and I've pierced through the paper and just kind of working it around to follow the hole. This is where our hanger will be. Now I'll be mounting the tree to the inside of the switch plate. So I have a piece of foam mount here, and I'll just put it in place on the inside. And go ahead and peel off the backing. And my tree is the 2 pieces back to back with the pearls. So I'll just go ahead and set this onto the foam mount. I've decided to add a little snowbank to my ornament, so I've taken 2 pieces of paper and torn them together so they mirror each other. And I'm going to go ahead and use my glossy accents as my adhesive. So just go ahead and put this all over your piece of paper. And I've cut the paper wide enough so it'll overhang off the side of the ornament. And now I'll just trim off the excess with my craft blade and cutting mat. So now we'll be putting our 2 pieces together, and I have a piece of cotton twine here that I'll just go ahead and loop through. And I want to do this first because it makes it much easier than trying to thread it once I have my pieces glued together. And I'll open this up, and now I'll apply my glossy accents to the entire rim of one side. So you want to make sure that you get it on all the parts of this top rim. And once you've applied all your glossy accents, you can go ahead and put the 2 pieces together. Just gently press. Now I want to make sure it's all lined up, and just by giving it a little squeeze, I can keep it in place. And without touching it too much, once I have it all lined up, we'll just go ahead and let this sit and dry. Okay, so now it's really starting to come together. I've added a ribbon around both sides and added a little extra bow and some rock candy to look like a snowbank. So now I can start adding adhesive to my little snowman. You can use glue dots or glossy accents. I'm just using an adhesive. And I'll go ahead and put adhesive on one of my birds. Oh, I want the other bird. So go ahead and put adhesive on my other bird and put that in place. And now I can flip the ornament over and go ahead and place my pieces in mirror of each other from the other side of the ornament. And here's how it looks. I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial, and thanks for watching.